this video, I'll go through the shunt, egress and anti-passback configuration options for a door within CT+. Navigate to Panel Programming, then select the Doors Lift tab. Click on the Shunt, Egress, Passback tab, and let's go through these options one by one. Starting with the Shunt type field, which defines shunt conditions. And the options are, when selecting No Shunting, means the door will not be shunted. Input shunting, which means the door will be shunted and will generate a forced door alarm if it's left open longer than the programmed shunt time. So for example, if door input 1 is unsealed longer than the shunt time. Selecting input shunting and door open too long, which means the door will be shunted and will generate a door open too long alarm if it is left open longer than the programmed shunt time. Auto shunting and door open too long, which means if the areas assigned to the door are in access, so disarmed, shunting of the door will commence when the input is unsealed. No card or pin is required. A door open too long alarm is generated if the door is left open longer than the programmed shunt time. The shunt time field is the amount of time the door may be opened without causing an alarm. This allows time for a user to pass through the door and shut it. The extension shunt time field is the amount of time the door is shunted when a user with long access enabled presents a valid card or pin at the door reader. This is specified in seconds or minutes. The warning time field is the amount of time for a relay to activate to sound a warning device before the shunt time or the extended shunt time expires. The shunt until door closes field ignores the programmed shunt time or the extended shunt time and shunts the input until the door closes. So for example, the door input is resealed. The cancel shunt when door closes field limits the shunt period to detect the door being opened again during the shunt time. Select this option to use the programmed shunt time or the extended shunt time to shunt the input and then cancel the shunt when the door closes. The anti-passback field selects the type of anti-passback desired. So when it's selected as disabled, the anti-passback functionality is not active, and the card will open the door without generating an alarm. If selected soft, the card will open the door when used a second time, but a report is generated. When selecting hard, the card will not open the door when used a second time, and the attempt will generate a report. Selecting timed hard, the card will not open the door when used a second time in succession at the same door within the program time, and the attempt generates a report. The anti-passback time field specifies the time delay that forces the user to wait until the delay timer expires, specified in seconds or minutes. The region in field specifies a region which represents the in readers for each door. When a valid card or pin is entered at the door reader, the region the user is entering into is recorded against the user code. Select the region by clicking the browse icon or type the region number directly into the field. The region out field specifies a region which represents the out readers for each door. When a valid card or pin is entered at the door reader, the region the user is entering into is recorded against the user code. Select the region by clicking the browse icon or type the region number directly into the field. There are two types of options for setting up the egress button, and the egress button is wired to the egress input field defined on the hardware tab for the door. A reader assigned to the door is defined as having an egress input. The egress field defines the operation of the egress button, so selecting egress timed means that when the egress button is pressed, the door will unlock for the access time programmed on the access tab for the door. Selecting egress held allows the door to be held unlocked for as long as the egress button is pressed or the length of the access time, whichever is longer. And selecting egress shunts only means when the egress button is pressed, the door input is shunted. The egress time zone field controls the times when an egress button will unlock a door to allow an exit. Select the time zone by clicking the Browse button or type the time zone number directly into the field. The Egress in disabled when secure checkbox controls the ability to use the egress button on any in reader to open the door if any of the areas assigned to the door via an access control level are secured, so for example armed. The egress out disabled when secure checkbox controls the ability to use the egress button on any out reader to open the door if any of the areas assigned to the door are secured. And then lastly, the egress reporting field sends a report to management software when the egress function is used.